Welcome to the latest episode of The Independent. I'm Pete Sampson in a darkened coach's press box, slightly atop Alumni Stadium after Notre Dame's 25-10 victory over Boston College. After this podcast, I'm going to go find Luca Lombardo on campus and see what his, short-term plans are. If he's, has ever been to South Bend, if he'd like to take a visit at some point, because Notre Dame has a major kicking problem right now, and that sort of led to a game that. It would be hard for Notre Dame to do more things to try to lose a game than they did tonight and still win by 15 points. But man, there was just a lot of stuff tonight. I'm sure Marcus Freeman on the plane ride back to South Bend is just going to be like, what are we doing?
I mean, if Pat McAfee's worried about going broke because he finds a student every week who hits a $500,000 kick on campus, then game day should come to Notre Dame next week because they apparently won't be able to find anybody who can hit a 35-yard kick or even a 22-yard kick. I can't believe how bad it's been. And clearly you're desperate when you're changing it up every single time. Yeah. And I can't even fault you for that.
In 25 years, I feel like I've heard everything from a coach post-game, but tonight was the first time a coach said, if you have 3 kickers, you don't have 1.
Did he actually say that?
Yes.
There is a first time for everything then, I guess. Yeah. By the way, this got to be the first 25-10 football game in the history of Notre Dame, right? Scoregami?
Yeah, it could be. You'll
get weird scores like that when you miss extra points.
Yeah, points.
Plural.
Yeah, a lot of that tonight. It was just everything about it was strange. I think from the Jadarian Price fumble in the first half, you're like, is this going to be one of those games? Might be one of those games. And then it just kept happening and happening. Like some of it was like dubious about Josh Burnham's face mask penalty, which apparently he maybe didn't even touch the face mask. But it just you had 3 personal fouls on defense. You had fumble on special teams, missed extra point, missed field goal, Jadarian Price's fumble. You had a CJ Carr pick that I think it got wiped out by a defensive holding penalty. You had Notre Dame having 2 receivers almost run into each other on a 40-yard touchdown pass in the first half. Carr did confirm post-game that he was throwing to Malachi Fields. Basically said Pauling converted the route incorrectly based on what the play format was and the coverage. But I don't know. It's look, Notre Dame, they won 6 in a row. CFP rankings come out on Tuesday. They're going to be on the cut line. Either they're going to be 11th or 12th. So it's not like they have a lot of margin for error from a how did you look standpoint. Miami lost today. As we record this, USC is losing.
It's Purdue too, by the way, in case you were wondering.
Yeah, Purdue's also losing.
Boise State got killed. That was a big upset today.
Yeah, so it's from a resume point of view, it's sort of there are some cracks in the resume at this point. But I think much more important for Notre Dame is like you can't have performances like this over the next month and expect to go 4-0 because at some point this is going to get you probably at Pittsburgh.
They heard me. Purdue literally scored a touchdown right after I said that to tie Michigan, but we'll see how that one does. Navy lost their first game of the year today as well. So, again, Miami and A&M are the ones you got to keep your eye on if you're Notre Dame. I was more worried about the idea of them not being of Miami being 11-1, not being in the ACC title game, and then that turns into a resume contest between Notre Dame and Miami, and obviously Miami would win that one with a better record and the head-to-head victory. I almost think Miami, even if they win out at this point, is going to be irrelevant in some ways. Like, certainly that's not like a great loss, but I feel like it's far enough removed from that game where you could look at Notre Dame at week 13 of this year, look at Miami of week 13 of this year, say, yeah, they have the same record. And yeah, Miami beat them. That's not nothing. But there's clearly one team that's better than the other right here. Not if Notre Dame plays like they did today against Boston College. But Mario Cristobal is 7-5 in his last 12 games. One of those wins, 7 wins actually against Notre Dame. But it's been you look at that league, you look at the talent that Miami has compared to everyone else, and for them to probably miss the playoff 2 years in a row is just malpractice all around. But Notre Dame's got issues to worry about internally more than they do externally right now. Forget about beauty contests. Like, you got to win your clunkers. I get that. Like, this had all the makings at halftime, and particularly the beginning of the third quarter of like, oh my God, is this really going to happen? Like, it entered my thought. Like, I didn't really think they'd lose, but like, pre-game, we were like writing this game off, as I don't regret doing, because I still think we should have written it off. But it just like, but even like, I mean, you're in the belly. Look, I'll backtrack. Weird enough for me. Thank you, YouTube TV and ESPN, for making my life a living hell today.
Yeah. Neither sponsors of the pod, never will be.
Yeah, exactly. I had to go to a bar for the first half and then bought a day pass on Sling to watch the second half, which is, it got the job done, but it got the job done the way Notre Dame got the job done at BC today. It wasn't like great. And it cost me money I didn't feel like spending today. But like, even the fake punt at the end with the like half-ass hurdle by Love, like, to me, that just reeked of like, let's just get out of here. We don't want to play defense and go through. Like, it felt like there was zero thought or effort put into that. And maybe I'm just like speaking as like from the 30,000 foot view watching on TV, but just everything about this just felt like, we don't want to be here. Let's just get out of here. And why run a fake punt there? Why?
Yeah,
like, your BC was not going to score on you. Like,
no, they weren't.
Your defense had to work for it. It did not. Nothing about it felt good.
No, it didn't. And it was like there was nothing. You're like, oh yeah, they're gonna hit on one of these classic fake punts here. Like, whatever they did there was probably going to go wrong. Because it was one of those games, and like I've thinking back to like the Brian Kelly had some games like that, whether it be like Ball State, Vanderbilt, Toledo. This was never quite in that level of doubt.
But this might be the worst power conference team. Outside of Oklahoma State, maybe.
But just a very strange performance from a Marcus Freeman coach team coming off a bye week, less. Where I get it, you're without Christian Gray after the game. Freeman said like, yeah, I practiced a little bit. We thought maybe kind of sort of.
His replacement looked pretty damn good, though. Like, that's an excuse.
very, very reasonable to hold Gray out today and probably next week if you really want to. Shouldn't need like great corner play against Navy, but it was a strange kind of really off-brand performance. I think even just like how Notre Dame has played from the start of the second half against Purdue through the end of the USC game, like consistently very good. I think they've looked like a playoff team pretty much for the last month. And tonight they looked like a mid-level ACC team. So that it was kind of an arresting departure. I don't want to psychoanalyze or read Marcus Freeman's body language too much, but like when he gets up there and talks about like, man, winning is hard and you really got to enjoy the wins. And like, it felt like he was trying to convince himself to do it. Because I don't think he enjoyed much of this at all.
The coaches always have, not always, but like, especially in games like this, you got to do it because you're just not going to feel great about it, even though the alternative is much worse for you. But like, you look at these two teams, you look at their resumes coming in, you look at the point spread, all that stuff. And if I told you Notre Dame wins the turnover battle 3-1, they win yards per play 8.3 to 3.6. They have 12 stops behind the line of scrimmage to BC's 4. And oh, by the way, one of your best players on defense is going to have a big pick, and your best player on offense is going to have a 94-yard touchdown run. Yeah, that sounds like how a Notre Dame BC game's going to go. And Notre Dame's going to win it 48-7 or something.
Exactly.
Like, it just did not. BC, thanks in large part to a nearly 12-minute half-opening drive in the third quarter, dominates time of possession, 35-21, but they win by 11 minutes, which shouldn't happen. But, that drive was just, it felt like they ran the same play over and over again. Like, James under pressure, he's going to dink and dunk over the middle for 4 yards, and they're going to move the chains. And sure, there were some very, very questionable penalties that aided that. But yeah, once they kicked the field goal on that one, you're thinking, and here's the thing. We go back to Notre Dame's kicking game. I think it's, generally speaking, coaches overreact when something goes wrong the first time on the point after attempt unit, and you go for 2 because you want to get to 14 instead of 13, and you end up with 12, and that puts you, let's face it, they were in a one-possession game a lot longer than they should have been because of that. And I gotta tell you, the alternative isn't much better because the short yardage offense is abysmal still.
Yeah, that's not a good spot either.
It's like I can't really blame them for going for it there. But at the same time, it's, pick your poison, right? Death or exile. Like it's two things they are really, really, really bad at right now. One of them makes no sense whatsoever, the run game and short yardage.
I was just saying the extra point makes no sense.
I mean, that makes no sense either, but like it makes less sense when you have Jeremiyah Love and Jarian Price and CJ Carr on your roster. And when you can run the ball as well as you can, generally speaking. I just don't get it.
No, I don't either. There's a lot for Notre Dame to get cleaned up moving forward. I mean, it's like, look, CJ Carr threw for 299 yards, like deep shots were there, like didn't hit all of them, but hit most of them. Jeremiyah Love runs for 136. I realized 94 yards came on one play. Drake Bowen, 14 solo tackles, which is an insane number for a middle linebacker in 2025.
Might top it next week.
Yeah, he may. Kingston Viliamasa with 9 tackles total. The 12 tackles for loss was, I think they had 28 tackles for loss all season coming into this game. I think they were averaging like 4 a game. So
BC lost their left tackle and center, right, in the game?
Yeah, I mean, it was not a good offensive line. I'm a bit shocked that they didn't just start Grayson James from the get-go, because he was at least gave them a chance because he could move instead of Dylan Lonergan. But, it is what it is. That's maybe one of the reasons you've lost 8 games in a row. So the kicking game is like an alarm bell situation for Notre Dame. I feel like the other stuff is highly annoying, but not stuff that you look at it if you're Notre Dame and be like, crap, this is who we are. Like, there's not the 3 personal foul penalties, regardless of how you feel about them. Like, that really should be an easy, like, hey, cut that crap out. Okay, that crap has been cut out. But for Jalen Seed to do that as a senior who's been here forever is still kind of ridiculous. So I think Freeman's probably a little bit exasperated after this one. I'm like, I think rightfully so. It's not, he always talks about reaching your full potential and like, you're never going to be perfect and all that stuff. And I get that. It's true. But they were so far away from that tonight. It's just like, you're like, whoa, this is, especially after a bye week, kind of like, guys, what are we doing?
According to the broadcast, CJ Carr went 2 hours and 36 minutes of real time between incomplete passes, which is pretty impressive, dude. Now, again, part of that, he's sitting on the bench while BC holds the ball, but still,
that's
very,
incredible.
very impressive. And you don't think about that when you look at the box score or just the overall feel of the way this game went. You said outside the extra points, everything else is like, we're having the same conversation about short yardage, though, that we did. I mean, they went 1 of 3 in the red zone, 1 of 3. And again, I know some of that's kicking, but BC rolled out the red carpet for them to kick a field goal at the end of the first half.
I've never seen a team play prevent from its own 30-yard line like that.
It was interesting. And Notre Dame, the road clock, I think, took an extra second off there, but like they took full advantage of that. And I don't know. I mean, we'll see Pitt with another dominant win today at Stanford. That's one I think we've all kind of circled in the last 5 games of the year that could possibly be trouble. We'll see. But they got to get better. I mean, today's performance was just not pleasant for anybody.
No,
they're aware of that.
Yeah, it's like, even so, like Leonard Moore falling down in coverage. Like, how often does, like, there was some stuff that happened, you're like, that never happens. Like, I get it, Jeremiah Price fumbles too much in like goal line situations, but like Leonard Moore doesn't just fall down. Like, there was it, and it was one of those games where you felt like for Boston College to win, it'd be the equivalent of hitting like an 11-team parlay. But then when they hit the first 8, you're like, oh God, like, this isn't really going to happen, right? Like, they're not going to be tied after Boston College goes down and scores a touchdown and then hits the 2-point conversion, right? Like, that's not going to happen. And sure enough, Grayson James throws like a just ridiculous interception to Adon Shuler. Tae Johnson had a pick today as well. Could have had another pick. So yeah, I don't.
He had 2 picks. Right?
Did he? I mean,
the first and the end.
One in the first half.
He got one tip to him, and then he picked off the game.
Oh yeah,
at the end.
He could have had 3 picks.
Yeah,
could have been a hat trick of picks. So yeah, it just, I never got the sense like, oh man, Notre Dame might lose the way that I have in other games. But yeah, it was just like, CJ Carr talked about this after the game. Somebody asked him kind of a big picture-y type questions about like, where the season's going and how, tonight fits into it. And, he talked about, we have high expectations and like, we've got as much talent as we did last year, if not more. Like, okay, well, I mean, the bar's going all the way. And I think if one of the things that was impressive but lost about Notre Dame last season was like after Northern Illinois, and really, I know Louisville was close, but Louisville was good. Like they just murdered everybody. Like in last year's 10-game stretch to the playoffs, did they have a performance like this? Am I forgetting something? Am I forgetting a game where they just
Miami, Ohio, maybe like
messed around?
Miami, Ohio, I guess, but like we're stretching to say that,
right? Yeah, and that was still kind of early, right? I mean, it was very early, yeah. Yeah, as soon as they sort of figured it out after Louisville, it was just like it was murder nonstop for 2 months. It's like, that's where you get Marcus Freeman saying violence on a T-shirt. Can we just make an extra point is not something that's going to sell on obvious shirts. So like it just
we can find out. Leave your comments.
We will put when you have 3 kickers, you don't have one to see how much.
I'm here for the kicking tryouts. Yeah, it is remarkable that McAfee finds a guy every week who can hit one of these things.
Yeah,
and cost him a lot of money.
Yeah, it really is.
Turn into great television. But by the way, it seemed like an extraordinarily brief post-game handshake between Marcus Freeman and Bill O'Brien.
They were, I think, both. So there were a couple moments in the game. I don't know if you noticed this on the broadcast, but like Notre Dame did it was at the end of the first half. Boston College subs, they're driving. Right. Notre Dame does the we're subbing too, but we're taking our time with that, and the clock's rolling down. And Bill O'Brien was losing it on the side, he was out on the field. So that kind of gamesmanship. But then at the end, I think Notre Dame takes that deep shot to Carr that's overthrown. But Boston College is calling timeouts. It had well, I'm not going to say it because it's a family podcast, but I see your middle finger and raise you a middle finger. Yeah. So I think that makes sense. And look, sorry, Boston College, you're not having a very fun season. I probably wouldn't want to hang around for a handshake either.
I do think, because we were just talking about the Miami Ohio game last year, I'm not saying anything's different as far as what happens or result. I do think I would feel more different watching this game, and I think others would too, if this was a home game and this was happening.
Where you're home, I think they would have been booed. They would have been booed.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they would have been booed. It would be tense.
Speaking of Miami, Ohio, right?
Yeah, that's it. Almost benefits you to get away and play in front of a smaller crowd as they did today in that regard. And some of the things that you mentioned that were kind of fluky as far as Moore and things like that, that those are the ingredients of an NIU upset. To be clear, NIU's one touchdown last year kind of happened in a very fluky fashion. Special teams was not great. You know what's interesting is
miracle. It was described to me by Chuck Martin when he watched it on tape. You could run that play 100 times. That's the only time it would end the way that it did.
One time. It's interesting. The special teams operation as a whole, I feel is a very well-oiled machine. They just can't do the easy things right. And I feel it's been that way under Marty Biaggi and Brian Mason.
They have made, I remember going back to we mentioned the Louisville game last year. I think they fumbled a kickoff in the first half, if I'm not mistaken.
Today they did.
Yeah, no, going back to Louisville, and I think Price also fumbled by the goal line in that game too and got benched. That's not, they don't knock in their gimmies very well.
No, but they're good for a couple blocks a year. They're good for a couple good fakes, unlike today's. I feel it's a very aggressive unit that keeps you on your toes at all times, but
not always in a good way.
Can't, not in a good way today. We're gonna get to questions here in a minute. Before we do that, I want to thank our friends at Obvious Shirts, obviousshirts.com, OBVIOUSSHIRTS.com. Friend of the pod, great pod merchandise, t-shirts, quarter zips, hoodies, crew necks, and much more. Some great player coach sayings, some great podcast sayings, all available at obviousshirts.com. Thank you to our friends Obvious Shirts for being a tremendous supporter of the pod.
And our friends at Roback.com, RHOBACK.com, promo code Irish for 20% off your first order. Great set of Notre Dame officially licensed apparel, hoodies, polos, quarter zips, joggers, shorts, basically everything you need for an active lifestyle at Roback.com. I was down on the field while the alma mater was going on. Notre Dame fan tried to pull me in for the alma mater, put his arm around me. He was wearing Roback, so I was like, well, I can't do that. But Roback.com, promo code Irish, 20% off your first order.
And thanks to our friends at DraftKings, the rivalries, the marching bands, the upsets, Saturdays just got way more fun. College football is back. You think you know the game? Put your knowledge to the test with DraftKings Sportsbook and turn your picks into big payouts with live betting, rivalry week odds boosts, and more. DraftKings Sportsbook has everything you need to own every Saturday. You'll soon be able to bet on Notre Dame's game Saturday night against Navy at Notre Dame Stadium. And here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code INDEPENDENT. That's code INDEPENDENT for new customers to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Let's go to questions.
Also, do they have player props for extra points on DraftKings or no?
If you want to lose a lot of money, yeah, probably. Patrick Walsh, genuinely, what was that? I
described it as an anti-classic in my my tweet to end the game.
Antichrist, Holy War. No?
Yeah. It's some extra connotations there, but yeah, it was just a mess. I mean, it felt like some of those Pittsburgh games that I've covered where I think we mentioned Pittsburgh is like very trappy and like those games get weird quickly. It felt like they were playing the Boston College Panthers in some ways.
Thuk, I think that's how you pronounce it. OSU rematch incoming. I don't know if you want that right now. Yeah, well, I don't know if you want that. I mean,
they could
right now.
Dude, they could play him in the quarterfinals. That
would be at the Rose Bowl probably. So I'm all for that.
All for that. Yeah, I don't know. That will be. I'm so interested to see what the first iteration of these rankings look like on Tuesday, because it's. Not that I know they say they rip them up and every week and start over, but like they really don't rip them up every week and start over. So it's like kind of where you are after rankings 1 with the schedule Notre Dame has left to play. Like, I don't think they're going to move up or down drastically without somebody else losing or winning. I think it's going to come down to everybody else.
I think the SEC is going to cannibalize itself a little bit. And I think the Big Ten, I'll be curious what they think about the Big Ten, because on paper right now, you've got a handful of teams in control of their own destiny, none of which I think will actually do much as far as, USC, Michigan, Iowa, Oregon all have, I think, one Big Ten loss. Any one of them went out, they're in. I don't think Oregon might. I don't think the other three really have a chance. Michigan's got to play Ohio State. USC has to play Oregon. And Iowa's got to play Oregon and USC. Oregon, at Iowa next week, at Washington to close the season, USC at home.
Yeah.
That could be a fishy finish for them as well. But we'll see how that ultimately feels. I will say I feel like the first week of rankings is important. Not that you can't move or move up, but it gives you a sense of where this committee thinks, like, oh, they're really high in the Big Ten this year. Oh, they're not that high.
Those are surprises sometimes. You're right.
Like 2014, the first ever one came right after Notre Dame lost to Florida State, and none of us really knew what to expect. And I remember being blown away that Notre Dame was 10, because I'm like, they just lost on a controversial call to the best team in the country. And it ended up not mattering. But 2015, I think they were 5. And it was like, wow, they really like Clemson, who barely beat Notre Dame.
Hopefully they really like A&M if you're a Notre Dame fan.
Exactly. John Scallon, friend of the pod. Did the Mighty Ducks of Chicago beat Iceland last night? Damn right they did. A lot worse than Notre Dame beat BC. Fun Halloween. Still recovering. Felt the same way waking up after eating all my kids' candy as I'm sure Notre Dame's coaching staff did watching their extra point unit line up every single time today. Bill Fuzz, how worried do we need to? I like your picture. Square cut pizza. How worried do we need
a home run and pizza, Bill?
Could be. How worried do we need to be with the offense right now?
I don't think worried at all. The short yardage thing is a problem.
Yeah.
The other stuff's like I thought they actually ran the ball pretty well tonight because they weren't overly stubborn with it. Jeremiyah Love ran hard. Like I don't think anyone gets excited about a 4-yard Jeremiyah Love run. I understand that, but like those runs count too. And then Boston College decided to pick the poison of we're going to take away Love and Price, understandable, and make Carr beat us. And Carr was like, okay, cool, let's do that. So I think Notre Dame on a dry track it was windy here, but not like crazy windy. Like conditions are not an issue. Notre Dame can beat you however it wants to beat you because you're going to do X, we're going to do Y. You're going to take away Y, we'll beat you with X. So I don't think I would be too worried about the offense right now. I think it's a pretty good unit. Did the offensive line play great today? No, it did not. I don't think they were terrible, but I don't know if I would say this was like picking up where they left off against USC either.
Adam Falcone, Marcus Freeman post-game locker room, quote, "Here come the Irish?" ? Unquote. You know what I was thinking of when I read that out loud? I wonder if you were thinking the same thing.
Tony Springman?
Yep.
Yep. The real ones know what we're talking about there.
That was a Brian Van Gorder quote about Tony Springman, Notre Dame defensive lineman from like 2014, who was a career-ending injury. He ended up getting hurt.
He had a career-ending injury, back surgery or something like that.
It was never really announced as such. And I want to say J.J. Stankovich said, "And how's Tony coming along?" And Brian Van Gorder just goes, "Tony Springman?" We're like, all right, well, he ain't playing.
Yeah.
Jay Carr, as soon as CJ joined, Matt and Pete being bald, the team stunk it up. Coincidence?
I'm just saying, look, Carr was...
I was saying Carr was great. He went almost
Carr was not the problem. You know what the solution here is we need a bald kicker. That's it. Bald... Like, I know Jay Carr has been sending... Jay Carr has the solution to short yardage. He sent me the big guy Arkansas short yardage run that worked against Notre Dame, or like we get some Caden Proctor or throwback screens in there or something. Like maybe there is something to that, but I push back strongly at the notion that CJ Carr took a step back because now he has the Lord's haircut.
Together, the three of us combined for how many hours without an incomplete pass? I mean, yes. Facts are facts. Also, they've got like a 30-year-old punter. I know he's got a great head of hair, but you can find a bald kicker there somewhere, I'm sure. Jeff Herr, prediction on where ND is ranked on Tuesday night. I don't know.
I'll go 11.
If Oklahoma wins tonight, my answer will be a lot different than if Oklahoma loses. Same with Ole Miss and a couple of these teams.
But then you got Tennessee in play.
Do you think USC losing to Nebraska tonight would really hurt Notre Dame in the short term? I don't know.
Yeah, I think they'll be 11 or 12.
I'm a little more optimistic than you are, but yeah.
Look, Georgia Tech is down 14-10 to NC State. Like that would be great for Notre Dame.
It would be good. It would be great. Why? Because the NC State one looks better.
No, just like you would remove Georgia Tech from.
Okay, yeah. That in that case, yeah, I could see it. Just look at who's ahead of them now in the AP poll. Yeah, do you put Vanderbilt ahead of Notre Dame?
I don't think so. Although, look, they played great again. Bald head coaches, like it works, but I still think like Vanderbilt, as good of a story as they are, and like they are a great story, and they have an awesome head coach, and like he's a friend of the pod and all that. Like you still have to look at their schedule and be like, who'd you play in that conference again? Like it's kind of one of you gotta like.
They got coach fired. They beat him so bad.
Virginia Tech is not. I don't think Vanderbilt's schedule outside of conference holds up in a way. And like I'm with you. Like they fought back. I thought they were going to get their butt handed to them today by Texas. It didn't happen. Like
they kept their playoff hopes alive by playing that way. They did
because like if they run the table from here, that would involve beating Tennessee, which is tough. They got a shot. I just think I would have Notre Dame ahead of Vanderbilt right now after today, just based on the comparable records.
I think Notre Dame will be. I don't know if they should be, at least in the short term. Because both have quote unquote two good losses apiece. Derek Muller with the $1 million question: how is it possible for Notre Dame to so consistently have difficulty recruiting kickers? Yeah, I mean, there's a larger story here as far as like that position's not getting recruited most places now, most big programs now out of high school the way it was, because why would you go with an unproven guy? It's like, I'm not the biggest NFL fan, but I always have it on the background Sundays, and it's like 60 yards are within this guy's range. Like, they're so freaking good at the NFL level, and it feels like they've never been worse at the college level all around. And you're grabbing 1 or 2 year rentals from year to year at most of these programs. I don't know.
I don't have a great answer for you, Derek, on this one. I mean, I was texting with somebody back in Notre Dame, and they're like, the Brandon Aubrey story, like every Notre Dame soccer player knows that story. They all are like, well, maybe I could be the next Brandon Aubrey.
Right.
And so you have an entire varsity sport of guys who think they can be
really good, by the way. They were national runner-up 2 years ago.
You can't find one guy there, just one. That's bizarre to me. I know I asked Brian Mason this maybe, but I definitely asked Marty Biaggi this, like, why would you ever recruit a high school kicker again? And he's like, well, you don't want to say never, and I get that, but like, I don't know why you'd ever recruit a high school kicker again. After this podcast wraps up, I'm going to scour the Boston College campus to find Luca Lombardo, I maybe do something similar after the Pittsburgh game in 2 weeks to see where their kicker is hiding post game.
See, you talked pregame about like who can Notre Dame take from BC's roster after this game, and I think we were looking at 300-pound defensive linemen, perhaps.
This is the kicker.
You are finding someone, and it's the kicker. Okay, it counts all the same. Although they went the ACC route last year, and it's not going all that great. Patrick Walsh again. Do you think Marcus blew up in locker room at halftime or after the game? This was the only time I've ever missed Kelly because he would have chewed someone out. Can't believe I said that. Yeah, I can't believe you did either. But
oh man, that's if you had said like, what are the odds someone in your post game podcast says I really miss Brian Kelly? Like the odds would be like it would be plus 10,000 on DraftKings. I mean, Freeman gets after it. They just never show it. So. Yeah, I mean, you can and he doesn't. I don't think he needs to curse anybody out. I mean, although, like, look, the camera showed him cursing out probably Jalen Sneed after that personal foul. Like, that was ridiculous. I know that he in the past I had heard a story like with Bryce McPherson, who was the old punter, just absolutely torched him in practice to the point that he left. And like. That's why we have James Rendell now. So, yes, Marcus Freeman is not going to torch a guy in front of a microphone, but he is incredibly demanding in practice. And if you can't take that, then you're not going to play.
Adam Falcone. Come on, Matt. I thought you were Italian. It's pronounced Falcone, like an ice cream cone. That's my favorite emoji. Apologies. I was thinking Falcone, the underground mob boss from The Dark Knight, when I saw the E at the end of your name, but Falcone, all the same. Seth Jones. No, Vandy has had good wins, but they can't hold their own long-term like ND can. That's kind of how I feel, actually. It's exactly how I feel about them right now. Sven Jansen, where is the Jack Daniels Sinatra, Pete?
Oh, God, it's in my cabinet at home. I would have, I think I would have run into some TSA pre-check issues here, flying to, but yeah, Sven, you know what's up. I'm looking forward to having that, and maybe after Notre Dame makes the college football playoff official, I'll crack that open, and I will cheers you as I do.
Steel Horseman, all of my ball brothers. Thank you. Yeah. Patrick McCarthy. Pete, you got a lot of groupies in Boston, it seems. Pete, great meeting you before the game. They say never meet your idols. They were wrong. Let's get some home run and pizza in Boston. Pat from Boston.
Yeah, Pat. I saw Pat before the game. He lamented he cannot find home run and pizza in Boston. So perhaps there's a new market for one of our humble sponsors to expand. But yeah, Pat, great meeting you. I met some fans yesterday. They bought me a coffee at Blue Bottle, which I appreciated.
I love Blue Bottle.
It was good. It was good. I can't remember their name. It was a father and son. They both went to Notre Dame, and I think they had another son who was getting engaged last night. So I hope that went well on Halloween. I don't have any way to ask a follow-up question. So if you are that person who bought me that coffee, please tell me.
Father and son from Notre Dame. So it's Fitzgerald, McCarthy, Don, Brennan. I'm sure we're throwing darts here, and we'll land one of them. Patrick.
And you want to put one lived in New York.
Wow. Patrick McCarthy again. Fortuna, all caps, on a scale of 1 to Cal Raleigh for MVP. How frustrating was this game to watch? I'm fascinated by that MVP watch because the line swung so big that last week of the season that I was able to maybe not. Maybe I'm not allowed to say this, but I found each as underdog in separate books at the same times and threw money on both to win either way. Sue me. But it looks based on the Vegas odds that Aaron Judge is going to win that going away, which surprises me a little bit.
I thought of you walking around Boston yesterday because I saw a kid who went as Aaron Judge for Halloween. So that was kind of ballsy for like a 6-year-old.
How tall is Aaron Judge?
Yeah, this kid was not. Stop. This kid was not. He was.
I almost had you.
I don't know if he was 6 or he was. I'm not sure.
So you started a movement here. Clearly, you're the reason this is so popular. Our school marquee literally now says, how many nights a week should your kids be reading? 6, 7. And then we all read it and said, if enough of us adults say it, it won't be cool anymore, and our kids will stop saying it.
Yeah.
And right after we say that, a group of grandparents shows up, dressed as Halloween, one wearing a 6, one wearing a 7. So
I saw some Halloween costumes
jumped
around Boston that were 6s and 7s as well. Yeah.
I believe Sam's replying to Ryan Glass Production says the face mask call and rare price fumble makes this a different game. Sam Clark replies, rare price fumble. He's fumbled 3 times within 5 yards of the goal this year. That's a problem.
Not rare. The face mask one, I don't like. I know we were texting during the game.
I didn't get it.
I don't know what happened with that because it looked like he didn't touch his face mask.
No, the rules official consulary, whatever they called it, and said if you put your hands in from behind into the helmet, that counts all the same. I don't know if that actually happened. They did throw the flag right when it looked like that might have happened, but I still didn't really independent of that. What a great play by Burnham. Like that play was dead. That was like Roy Williams jumping over the goal line to tackle Chris Sims. Levels of timing.
Yeah. I mean, the defense, I thought this gets lost in the mess of tonight. Like Luke Talich had some really nice plays tonight. I mean, he sniffed out, I think there was a 4th down attempt that was like a play action kind of throwback type thing. He sniffed that out. Like, the defense played like CFP level good tonight. Just like they had 3 ridiculous penalties, but they weren't ridiculous for all the same reason.
Yeah, I mean, even independent though of that Burnham penalty, like they had to get off the field earlier, I think, on that opening drive. It's just, you can't let BC kind of dictate terms of engagement that way.
I hear what you're saying.
I just had nowhere to go. Jay Domer, 6'7" is this generation suck it. Jay Domer is a fellow child of the WWF Attitude Era. And if you watch that Vince McMahon Netflix documentary, you're like, holy crap, I actually like this. Like, this was fine. This was on cable. I guess it's better that this generation is cleaner with their insults and all the other cool stuff they're doing. But things are definitely different. Kevin Kahn, did Christian Gray possibly get a starting position taken today?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think if anything, it's like we talked about the lack of depth in the secondary at the beginning of the year, and it's like, well, Tae Johnson is going to make us eat our words of that one at least. Like, and he's looked good, I thought, all season long, especially today though. Like he was
after the first 2 games, I think he's been outstanding.
Al Bundy, great name for a question like this, but also Nicolas Cage as your avatar. Let's not forget these are college kids. Sure, they're paid, but they're still kids. This stuff happens. They had the fortitude to win. Much better than NIU last year.
Definitely better than NIU last year.
Win your clunkers. You Got to win your clunkers.
Yeah. I'd say, like, look, there's a difference of, like, I think Jadarian Price fumble, the missed extra points, the Jalen Seed personal foul. That's the kind of stuff where you're just like, guys, stop, like, don't do that. Leonard Moore falling down is different. That's like a freaky thing that happens, like, very rarely, almost never. But yeah, you got to cut out the, what is it? I think Freeman describes it as, like, it's like if you get a PI, or, that's an aggressive penalty. They make some, like, selfish, like, brain lock mistakes too. And that's the stuff that's in a different box of, like, criticism or critique of what's going on.
Andre King, friend of the show. Hey. Hello, Mr. Sampson. Matt, my man. Strange game. Happy Smith was back at nickel. I think Greathouse is gone. He never impressed me. He doesn't separate. Ran a 4.7. Portal me, bro. I think it's time to ask Marcus Freeman about this. At least get an answer out of him. No, like an on the record answer. Not that I think he's going to say much, but
yeah. Well, I mean, that was actually lost because Devonta Smith got hurt during the game.
I mean, Greathouse.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, I understand.
Like, dude, are you on the team or not? And if he's really hurt, then by all means. But, like, I think it's reached, the silence has stretched how many weeks now?
Yeah.
Every fan thinks it. We're all wondering it.
Yeah.
Like, it needs to be addressed head on. And if he, I don't know. I mean, I know it's a different era, it's a different time, but, like, if he's just redshirting, I don't know why he's on the team, if that's the case.
Yeah, I think we're to the point that you could ask, like, is Jaden Greathouse just redshirting? Like, does he want to play? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either, but it's a very long time to be questionable.
Yeah.
Another Irish heritage groupie, maybe related to Bill O'Brien, maybe not. Michael O'Brien actually, I have a Michael O'Brien in my family. Pete, my wife, and I listen to you each week, and I just want to say we love you, and the jean sport coat combo was very stylish.
Thanks, Michael. Appreciate that.
Glad you have a healthy relationship with your wife like that. You think maybe my wife could agree on any menswear for anything, especially on other men? No.
Yeah, I was going to say, that actually is the stranger part.
Adam Falcone. Do you think this team is lacking leadership from a player standpoint? Most of the leaders are true juniors. Feels like they're much more immature than last season. Well, they're definitely not as mature as last year.
Yeah, that'd be
impossible. I don't know. I mean, like a lot of things, I think with 18 to 22-year-olds with a game that bounces funny, like we come up with that answer after the fact, but it's obvious. Like we play the result. If they lose a pit, we'll say, see. I don't know. I mean, it's not last year's. It's impossible to be last year's. I think I think this is more of a bad play by BC than a good play by the Notre Dame, but it's good when your captain safety comes up with a game-changing interception. Like that's got to boost morale for everybody.
Yeah.
Sean Martin, there are a couple of Reggie Ho questions in here. Didn't Reggie Ho get the job be open tryouts competition in the stadium lot this week?
Yeah.
Great. I got your next story, Pete.
Yeah, right.
First person. You got tryout too?
Soccer team.
Well, it's like who was the Bears kicker? Cody Parkey. And then Goose Island did the whole tryout here in the ice to see who can make a field goal. Sean Martin, another Reggie Ho one. Manuel Maldonado, women's soccer #1. Must be some accurate kickers.
Yeah, there are
Vanderbilt had a woman kicker a couple of years ago.
There are two teams that Notre Dame could scout out here. That's true.
Tyler Buckner holding for his sister. Greatest story in college football history, or one of them, I guess. Be cool. Michael O'Brien, Pete, you are taller in person. You're not 6'7", though.
No,
whatever, 6'4", 6'3".
You're this podcast is moving towards its conclusion. I think there are people trying to clean out this coach's box that are like, once they get into the 6'7" jokes, they're about done.
Dan Kelly, 120. We were all Irish groupies, just like everyone is Irish on St. Patrick's Day. I know. I meant Irish Heritage Peak groupies.
Yeah.
Juan Paku Dan Piu. I probably mispronounced that. I had a hamstring bother me off and on for 2 years. I can believe he's hurt. That is good to know. Couple more about officiating, which I think we've addressed pretty
not good.
Pretty going on. Regine says Eric Hansen said Greyhouse is a legitimate hamstring issue.
Well, before it was a thigh issue, so I'm not kind of confused on that one.
I don't know. I think we all need to get an answer here sooner or later for his sake. I don't think it does him any good to.
That's true too.
Have us all speculate either. I don't know if this is a guy in Boston right now. Coldest Brian says, Pete, we got a seat for you at Joko's. LOL. I don't know. You're gonna go there after this?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But I got to check into my hotel.
Okay, we'll get you out of there. Try to find a kicker.
Yeah. All right.
And a drink.
Yeah. I'm off to find Luca Lombardo and a beer. So, on that note, he's Matt. I'm Pete. Thanks for being with us on our post-game episode of The Independent after Notre Dame's 25-10 victory over Boston College.